Yes, here we go. Bridge City Radio, 100.7 FM, KCLA. I am your host, Vic Bustillos.
What's going on, Frank Contreras?
And in the studio tonight, we got a special guest, FC3. Yeah. I just wanted you guys to vibe off that for a minute. For those of you who don't know who FC3 is, FC3 is a up-and-coming producer. And, man, this guy came out of nowhere. It's like, I don't know where he was hiding. He was, like, in a dark alley somewhere. And all of a sudden, this beam of light from the sky just shone upon him, you know. And I want to thank him for being in the studio tonight. Frank, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So I'm happy to have you, brother. So, I've known Frank for a long time. Frank is, I've kind of been blessed with the opportunity to see him grow up. I think you too, huh, Frank?
Most definitely.
Yeah, this kid is been raised in studios. He's been around music all of his life. You know, and I remember seeing him in the studio when we were recording, Frank, you and I, back in 06 maybe.
Yeah, 04, 03.
Yeah, God, man. Yeah. And I remember being in the booth, getting ready to run some lyrics, a verse or whatever, and I don't know what happened, but everybody abandoned me in the studio, man, and the MPC was just looping.
I remember that.
With like some hi-hats or something, and I was like, can somebody...
Yeah.
I could tell that the MPC was on solo.
Right.
And I was like, can somebody please press solo on the MPC so that the beat could kick back in and I could get my verse going, you know?
Yeah.
And nobody was, I was like for a whole minute. And I didn't want to walk out of the booth. I was ready to go. I had my vibe going. I didn't want to walk out of the booth and go like.
So he was the one that pushed solo?
He was the one. And he's like, I don't know how old you were, bro. You were like a kid.
Yeah, I think I remember.
So for those who don't know, an MPC is a sampler, beat making, production center. It's a machine sort of like the one he's using here by Native Instruments.
Yeah, the MPC is very, very monumental in the hip hop game.
Exactly.
I mean, at first, you started with the SP1200,
right?
Which is Posse on Broadway, all your Beastie Boys, and earlier hip hop tracks, and then MPC. Roger Lynn. Big shout out to Roger Lynn.
It's
man.
over.
Yeah, that was it. That was game over after that, but obviously not, because I see in the studio today with FC3, he's running the Native Instruments Machine Studio, which looks like an amazing piece. I've heard a lot of good news about it, and man, we're hoping that he can bless you with some stuff. What do you got in mind, Frank, man?
I got about like a couple sets. I got like a 20-minute sets. I want to drop some songs I've had for a long time. If you follow me on social media, some of them are going to be familiar, as well as some newer stuff that I've been working on. So
nice.
It's a good little blend, I think.
Well, good. I'm excited to hear it. And
that's right.
I hope everyone else enjoys it. What is your social, so in case anybody wants to check you out while they're listening?
So it's FCSoundz at like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook Music, YouTube channel as well, FCSoundz.
You also got a website?
Yeah, I have a website. I sell beats out of fcsoundz.com.
Okay.
I'm looking to buy beats or have custom beats made. Got a couple sound packs on there as well. So
word.
Okay, so it's FCSoundz with a Z at the end.
Yeah, FCSoundz with a Z.com.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right,
so
good.
people could look him up and check out what he's got available.
Good. Well, man, without further ado, FC3 in the studio. He's going to run some live beats. No joke.
Yep.
Let's do this.
30 seconds and counting.
Hey, yo, what's up? Let's keep it real, son. Count this money, you know what I'm saying?
So
self-driven. Willie Killer, that's a lyrical given. New school style, but the 90s is where my lyrics living.
Going out to the hardcore hip-hop.
Everybody talking like they know something these days.
Of course we don't flip-flop. We're gonna come down with the 94 style. And it goes a little something like this.
This is a journey into
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you a very strange story. The story of our adventure.
Visualizing the realism.
FC3 in the studio right now, Bridge City Radio. Live production going on here. FC3.
if I can paint for you the large picture. Come here, little man, let me talk with you. See if I can paint for you the large picture. See if I can paint for you the large picture. See if I can paint for you the large picture. Large picture. Large picture. See if I can paint for you the large picture. See if I can paint for you the large picture.
Tuned in to FC3 on Bridge City Radio 100.7 FM, KCLA. Wow.
Hard hitting beats, man.
Am I on? I'm on. All right, cool.
Yeah, man, you're on fire. That's what you're on, bro.
What was that sample? Was there any samples in there, or is that all original stuff?
There's some samples.
That
in
one
there,
that had the girl in there, it sounded like she was saying different realm. I don't know what she was saying. That beat was hot.
Once
It
again,
sounded like she was saying cherry bombs, or what was that? Like
a lot of times, if it's actual lyrics, yes. A lot of times I chop it up, and it's most of the time it's nonsense. But
but yeah, it has a good flow and rhythm, and it sticks in your mind.
yeah, that's
She
definite.
sounded like an Asian girl saying something.
That's
I think it was
going for.
the third or fourth one before that last one, and that one little bing 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 bing. He switched the beat real quick. You see this getting happy on it.
Oh man,
Let me
no,
switch this one
definitely,
off.
man. I should have just left my mic on because I was over here like wooing and hawing over here, man,
Sure.
behind the scenes, bro.
So what I want to know is like, what exactly are you using? Because see, back when I was growing up, every generation uses something different.
Yeah.
And technology is constantly changing. So what exactly is someone like FC3 using to produce beats like this?
Ooh, mostly the internet, man. It's mainly, I have a lot of records still that I pull samples from, but a lot of the times, it just depends what I'm going for. But most of the time, it's coming from my own collection, or it's stuff that I'm pulling off the internet that's not, it's not really like records all the time. It's, like it'll be a recording of somebody playing piano, like they're doing like a tutorial,
like on PBS or something, or what?
Just it'll be anything really. Like
Cool, so
there's a couple in here that are from some really out there records that you wouldn't really expect. A lot of children's records, and then I slow a lot of things down and I manipulate the samples so that I feel like I don't know, I do a good enough job that it becomes original. It's sample based, but even like a lot of the basses that I use a lot of the same basses. Those are just usually samples of just a bass note, and I've just manipulated it and put it on a piano roll.
Got you.
And did that.
So that's you playing the bass for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Through manipulated sounds, basically.
Yeah.
So for those of you who aren't familiar with how production works, I mean, obviously you have bands who actually play instruments, drums, bass guitar, and then you have production, which is a whole different monster. There's a lot of, I can understand why people would frown on it and consider that the beat machine has no soul and is no instrument. However, I believe that it's just as technical to learn how to use that sort of, I call it an instrument because
definitely it is. Yeah, it's
go for it now, please.
It's in they got Dilla's in one of the music museums.
Wow.
Yeah, one of his MPCs in there. So that's
as it should be, man. I mean, Dilla's a monumental name, a monumental man. It's sad that we had to lose him, and there's many others that we've lost that have done so much for the game. But these drum machines that are out, you take a sound, you add it to a pad. As you were saying, you were manipulating one sound, and then you run it across basically like a keyboard. So you have different octaves of that one sound that you can actually now play a chorus or a chord or different octaves of that sound and just make your own beat.
Completely manipulate or change the feel of it completely.
As we can hear, I mean, I felt so many different things, and just so that we're clear though, everything that we just heard right now is from FC3's production, correct?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Obviously sounded like air when it started. Kind of like that.
Oh yeah,
nothing.
Yeah.
Just plain.
yeah.
And then
pretty much,
every sound you pre-recorded all that stuff.
Yeah,
you sequenced everything. Oh man, absolutely amazing. I'm super stoked out and proud of you because I know you personally, and I remember, like
Thanks,
I said,
man.
from seeing you as a child, we never know what people are going to amount to and how far they're going to go.
Exactly.
And I mean, I was just explaining to Frank over here. I was like, man, this guy, I don't. With all respect, he passed you up, man.
I got a long way to go.
Well, that's good.
That's what it's about, man.
For me.
Stay humble, man. Stay humble, definitely. So, you have the native instruments. That's what you use now. Are there any other machines that you have interest in or your eye on that you would like to try out?
Not lately. No. There's been a lot of new stuff coming out, and they all pretty much do the same thing. It's just a preference type thing. Like even a lot of the programs and everything, it's just what you're comfortable with. And it just happened to be that one of my buddies lent me one of these, and I just started messing with it. At first, it took me like an hour to get something listenable, and then you just keep playing with it every single day. And then I eventually wanted to get my own, so I had already spent about 6 months learning the Native Instruments software and learning how all the shortcuts work and stuff like that. So it was I just figured I'd get the next step up, which is the Machine Studio, because it can do a little bit more and it's a little bit bigger. And I just went with that just because I didn't want to take the time to learn a new program and do all that. Right. So
yeah, you're already on a roll. So
yeah, I was already invested in it pretty much at that point. So I just wanted to have my own. So
a lot of times people ask me, like, through the years, hey, what do you think of this program or this beat maker or this keyboard? And they say, will this work? Like, for instance, will a machine work by Native Instruments, or do I need to get an MPC? Or does Fruity Loops work, or do I need to get a Native Instruments machine? I say, you know what? You could use all of them. Just whatever you do, stick to one, learn it thoroughly, learn it in and out. And if you really take the time, you cut out the wine, the women, and you really focus on that thing for a few months, you'll really get that thing to work to its full capacity.
Yeah.
And basically, that's what we see you did here with this machine. And this is also actually awesome to hear, because I look at that thing and it looks like a spaceship controller to me. You know.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to turn it on. You know.
It takes time. It took me about a year. I remember when I brought this thing home, it's essentially the same thing as the MK2 that I was using.
Right.
It's just laid out a little differently. It's got like a actual power source for it.
Oh, nice.
But when I took it home, I was frustrated because the program was different. Everything was updated. Because the one I had, it hadn't been updated. My buddy just let me use it. So I had just been running off of old software that they had. And then when I got my own, I had to put my own program in and everything. I had to get a new laptop for it because the one I was using was ancient. It was just not able to combat with this. So.
And all that's the learning curve of it. It's like, you remember when, Victor, when you had got your MPC? I remember when I got mine, it was like, because the MPC was like the holy grail of beat making.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I remember I finally got it, and I brought it home, and I said, man, I just was staring at it like the book is this thick, you know, it's a 300 page.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I can't, it's not working right. I was going to use my old sampler I had. And then I thought, you know what, if I could learn this machine, I'll know how to do something that someone else will know how to do.
Yes.
So you really got to put the time into anything. That's why we want to encourage our listeners. You got to put your time into anything you want to do, whether it's using a machine made by Native Instruments or just a program on your phone.
Yes.
It ain't going to sound good unless you really put the time into it. And that's what we see here with FC3, that you actually really put the time into it. So don't think that you're going to buy this machine and be able to make beats like him in the first day, because you're not.
Absolutely true.
I had to mess with it about every day for about a year, just so that all the programs and everything just gets out of the way and you're able to just work on music. And my flow pattern from years ago is pretty much the same, the way I go about making. I mean, it's always different depending on what strikes your curiosity and the creativeness, but my process is pretty much the same as it was when I locked it down a couple of years ago. It's been about 2 or 3 years that I've had this, and the first year was definitely super frustrated, but it was just every single day after like my regular 9 to 5 and stuff, and after being a dad and stuff, I just spent about an hour or two, and there weren't any. Now there's hundreds and hundreds of tutorials, and you could use YouTube, so I mean there's really no excuse other than you just not wanting to put in the work, you know? Yeah.
You brought up a good point, Frank, about the manuals, because I filed my manual away. Like right when I got it, I didn't really care about the manual. Like I said, I just wanted to get into this. Yeah. Now, did you take any time? Okay.
Nothing with the manual. I'm not really big on like the reading. I went on YouTube and I looked up machine studio tutorials, and there was like 4. And I was like, all right, I'm going to just study these. And it was about like basically the layout of everything, how to lay the pads down, and I just kind of just went from there and developed my own little system.
It sounds great, man. I want to hear some more. Once again, you're tuned into Bridge City Radio. We got FC3 in the studio, and he's actually, everything that you hear in this segment is live. I mean, he's actually doing all this in studio right now as we're recording. So what you say, Frank? You want to get down with some more?
Yeah, I got a couple more I could throw down. Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. FC3, Bridge City Radio.
my zone, step into my ad rap,
sickness. Sounds of FC3, Bridge City Radio 100.7.
Sweet.
Oh my gosh, man. Okay, so I'm loving the feel, man. That's like a lot of jazzy influences in there, man.
Yeah, I love the jazz.
I gotta ask, because like Frank and I are looking at each other. We're talking in the background while we're listening to you, and you know, I gotta ask you, who are some of your influences in music? Because as I hear a lot of jazz influences, so.
Mainly just jumping around, man. When I was about like 6 or 7 is when I was taking his CDs and stuff without his permission, and I'd
Who's that?
Him right here. Yeah.
Oh man,
Cat's out the bag.
there, that's
so-
where they went.
Cat's out the bag. So okay, when he says him, he's pointing at my co-host Frank Contreras, and if you put 2 and 2 together, FC3
Makes sense.
Frank Contreras the third in the studio tonight, and that's why I say he passed his pops, because his pops actually is a sick producer and came out with quite a few dope things that really made it in the past, man, in the early 90s.
Oh yeah, still getting
And
played.
still to this day. But man, Frank, when FC3, when I say Frank this time,
Yeah.
it gets kind of confusing for those that are listening over the radio. But man, Frank, you really are taking it to a new level, man. I love the hip hop influence. It's like I want to rhyme again right now just listening to them,
definitely.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and a couple things just had to stop me from doing it because I don't want to embarrass you on the radio. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for real.
But yeah, please, man. I know you said you were taking some of your pop CDs when you were young.
Tapes, yeah, the
Or
cassette
cassettes.
tapes, yeah. When I was about, it had to be like sometime in like grade school. I would take a couple of them and put them in my own Walkman and kind of be sneaking around listening to them. And there's just a couple. Those are like the early ones that I could like remember that got me moving towards like that direction.
Wow. And was this his actual productions, or was this just music that he was listening
It would
to?
be just like stuff in his collection.
Okay.
A lot of the time, sometimes both, but a lot of the stuff in his collection.
What are some of the artists?
The Beastie Boys first.
Beastie
was the
Boys,
first
for
one I
sure.
could
Oh, yeah,
remember.
definitely.
Yeah, and I would play it and rewind it, play it and rewind it. It'd be like the single cassette. It wouldn't even be like I don't know if they did the album.
Oh, yeah,
It'd be
yeah.
the single. So I just keep rewinding it, and then it would just mess up, and I'd have to throw it away and just act like
man.
nothing happened.
So let me ask you, what was because we all have this similar story. When my parents were playing music, it was a certain type of music. But when I finally decided at my age, whether it was 9, 10, 11, or 12, when I decided to listen to what I wanted to listen to, what are some of the stuff that you were gravitated towards, and you went out of your way to either purchase, buy, or look up music that you liked and not what your parents liked? What would that be?
Ooh, that was a long time because it was a lot of the hip hop was big influence. So the first thing that it was an influence, but that I actually wanted to buy was those like Run DMC Greatest Hits was the one that I actually wanted to buy myself and I liked. And it wasn't until maybe like getting into like high school and I started playing drums that I started listening to like heavy metal and branching off into that stuff, and then getting into like jazz that that's the stuff that I actually digged and wanted to check out for myself. At a point I wanted to be like a really great drummer, and so I wanted to study all these great drummers, and it started just with like punk rock and just a lot of the bands people know of, like like Sublimes and Blink-182 and
Great
stuff like
stuff.
that. And then you just start going down that rabbit hole and
Right.
you just
Wow. So today, you would say you're still into jazz, still
yeah,
into
definitely.
rock, still into metal.
yeah.
You still
I
dabble
try to
in everything.
pull it all together, yeah.
Okay.
So I remember you were going to school. I remember we went out and seen you in a jazz, some type of ensemble, or how do you say it?
Or it's like a quartet, yeah. It's like a
Yeah.
4-piece, 5-piece.
He was going to a local college here, Harbor College,
Really?
and he was playing the drums, jazz style. Like,
Wow.
that was awesome, man. I'm like,
Jazz
wow.
drums, yeah.
That's great. So are there any artists that you're currently working with?
I have a couple in the bag that I've been working on for like a couple years, but I just came out with a couple projects of my own. One that I just finished up actually a couple weeks ago, Soul Foods, and that's basically like I don't know. I wanted to bring like healthy living and healthy food vibe, like the cover art
Good.
with like lo-fi type chill type
Nice.
beats. And my goal was to make something for people to like cook to, because I'm always like cooking for my kids and stuff, and I'm always looking for playlists, or I know people are big on like study playlists or jogging playlists,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Yes.
when you get up in the morning and you're just a playlist to get
Yep.
you going. And
Yep.
like, I find a lot of people are into that like chill hop lo-fi-ish.
I like that. So
Stuff.
how can we find that online now?
It's streamable on all streaming platforms. Just if you go under like FCSoundz or FC3 actually, or
Okay, so-
Soul Foods, the album.
So it's FC, then the number 3,
Yeah,
and then
FC3.
Soul Foods.
Soul Foods, yeah, is the
Okay.
name of the album. It's like EPs, like 7-8 tracks. And I have another one before that, Beats to Rhyme. That one's like 2017-ish. And I put out a couple singles since then, between like 2017 and 2020, I guess.
So it's
we're here
Beats to Rhyme, the number 2 or the TO?
It's the number 2, Beats to Rhyme.
Okay,
Yeah.
Beats to Rhyme. Yeah, that's all that's important because a lot of times when you try to search stuff, you know, people, they were like,
makes
I
it hard to
can't-
find.
Yeah,
Like, I
don't-
can't find it.
Beats
Yeah.
to Rhyme, then you know another group might come up, Tribe
Right.
Called Quest or something. So Beats, the number 2, and then Rhyme.
Yeah.
Okay.
I try to keep everything under like that FC3 little umbrella. That way, if
Good.
you look up
Okay.
FC3 on Google or on anything, all my
Okay.
stuff comes up. I'm really trying to push my YouTube channel and
I was just
get
gonna
that
say, bro,
cracking, man.
I see that you do your like real short snippets of beats, and is all that production the video production as well?
All of it, mainly me and my lady, Danny. She helps me out a lot with like the camera work. and
Wow.
just what looks right, because I don't really have that. I mean,
That
it's like a muscle, like looking at the camera and knowing, like how you were doing earlier, knowing like, like that angle's not right, like trying to get everything like pleasing to the eye. And
Yeah, shout out to Danny too, because I know she's a photographer, so she probably has the eye to have the camera set the right way.
yeah, no, she definitely, all of that is pretty much from her that I got that from. Now it's not so much that I need her to come and like help me, but all the time with like focusing the camera and doing all that stuff, because I'm with the ears, so like the eyes, I'm not.
You guys are perfect peas in a pod there, man. You got the eyes and the ears, bro.
Yeah.
Your kid's gonna be the mouth. Watch.
They already are.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Man, FC3 in the studio. He's been blessing us with some crazy music, all production from his own heart and his own mind. Man, I don't know what to say. I'm blown away with what I heard tonight. I actually love a lot of the beats that you played. Like I said, it pulls something out of an old hip hop head like myself who used to freestyle all the time.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in a while. I have a kid now. I don't really listen to hip hop anymore. To be honest with you, I don't feel the same way I used to feel for it.
Right.
Yeah.
But listening to the instrumentals that you're playing right now, it's like I can go back to that.
Yeah.
You know what disgusts me and what turns me off is the lyrics. I don't find it nice or cool to cuss anymore. I don't think it's nice to be degrading or disrespectful anymore.
Yeah,
I think
you're right.
I think that's what really ruined hip hop for me.
Yeah.
It was cool when NWA did it, when Cool G Rap was doing it.
When it wasn't every group.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And now it's just everything is just negative. And I've lived negative most of my life. I was raised in a negative environment,
Yeah.
I just don't want that in my life anymore. You grow up after a certain point and you start to realize, like, I want good things in my life. I want happiness. I want positivity. I want real friends. I want real family. I want true love,
Yeah.
And, man, I feel that off your beats, bro. And
Thank you,
I'm going to have to
man.
get
Thank
that cooking CD and try to get me a cookbook too, man. So
Yeah.
you might have to
Yeah.
get a cookbook with that, where you're going to have to work with somebody, man, to get a cookbook going with that.
Yeah, that's what's good too about instrumentals is there's no lyrics.
Hip-hop
It's
cookbook.
hard for me to hear lyrics. A lot of mumbo jumbo rap that's out now, and I'm not really against. You mentioned about explicit lyrics. I get it. There's a place for that in hip hop. There's always has been for the most part. I mean, when I was growing up, there wasn't too much explicit lyrics, but hip hop is aggressive and it's very competitive, so you're gonna get that. But I mean, shout out to FC3 because, like, for me, that's why I play a lot of jazz, because our classic. You'll go jump in my car, I'll have classic radio station on because there's no lyrics.
Yes.
I don't got to sit there and listen and dissect it all, and
Yeah.
and that's the great thing is a lot of times like beats like this will actually speak for themselves. You don't have to have all these lyrics and all this storytelling and all that, which is great, but it's got to actually fit.
Yeah.
And a lot of the music nowadays, where you mentioned where hip hop is going, it wouldn't fit because it's a lot of mumble jumble now. So I mean, some of it's good. I mean, I understand it's a young man's game, but at the same time, I'm cool with hearing instrumentals because you could think freely when you just hear the music playing, and that's what I dig about what he's sharing tonight.
Yeah, that's what a lot of producers, that at least the ones that I'm looking up to and trying to emulate, that's what their whole game is like trying to make the producer not the forefront, but give him his own stage now, and to where they can other producers can just have instrumentals out streaming and people will listen to them hundreds and thousands of times because they're only, like, as far as the stuff that I put out, I only put out stuff that I'm like passionate about and I was inspired by, and I find that's the stuff that people react to and get the things like you're saying that make them want to rhyme and create those little earworms. It's you can't really force any of it and try to make something that sounds a certain way, but it's just because I was brought up with parents who played the old 80s and early hip hop stuff, so it's kind of like embedded in me, so that's just what I go towards. That's just what I vibe with. But a lot of it is just like what you're talking about, like the newer stuff. There's such a oversaturation of everything now that it's all in your face now versus before the internet and stuff. Everything was kind of word of mouth, and you didn't hear about all the whack artists. You heard about, you know, the ones that were great and stuff.
Yeah, the only ones that were talked about.
And today there's hundreds of different ways that people can get on, and I think we're living in just like the best time for music right now because.
Well, I love what you play, man. I want to thank you for coming out to the show. You really blessed us tonight.
Yeah,
it was a
you
nice.
for having me.
Oh man, I'm grateful. Like I said, that was a beautiful thing for me to experience. So we got probably about half a minute left. So I want you to just kill us with something as we outro and say thank you for being in the studio, man.
And once again, where can we find you online?
Online, it's gonna be FCSoundz FCSoundz on pretty much any social media, Facebook, music, Instagram, FCSoundz as well with a Z, so it's FCSoundz.
So make sure you check them out. You're tuned in once again at Bridge City Radio. FC3 is in the house, in the building. Make sure you check them out. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm Frank Contreras, and we got
Vic Bustillos.
Bridge City Radio.
Bring it on back in.